Sometimes I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna have a good time. Like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm for my sanity. I'm Michael Gonzalez, and this is Big Money Moves, our first official podcast. It's a big day. I'm gonna let my guy introduce himself. He's a big timer. Go ahead, my guy.
What's up, everybody? We're happy to be here in Orlando. We just took a 4-hour drive to come see this guy. Woo! Really, really impressive everything that's going on over here. I really love seeing it from Instagram to real life to actually seeing that's a running, operating, breathing company that's alive. It's truly incredible. Something for you guys to really, really, really be proud of you and your family. So really cool, bro. Thank you for showing me around. My name is Alex Quin. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a crazy motherfucker. I like to do business with the really, really cool people. So travel the world connecting with everyone, and today we are in Orlando.
4-hour drive to come see this guy.
Yeah, bro.
This guy.
Can't believe this shit.
I don't know, but I would do the 4-hour drive for you too.
You did, bro. You came to the. He came. We had an event at FIU on May 8th. It was a fantastic event. Chris Delgado was there.
Yeah, some guy.
Shout out to Chris and the Go Marketing crew. Guys, you gotta travel to be successful, right? I mean,
Sure.
At the end of the day, you gotta invest in yourself. I think that's really important.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if you don't have the ability to sacrifice in any sense of the business, you might as well not be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Whether that's time, money, energy. Like I always have this like big phrase like what you give is what you get. So like if you're not willing to give time, if you're not willing to give time, knowledge or money, these things will never really come into fruition of like the things you're going to be successful in.
Yeah, because you're kind of taking from your future self if you really think about it. I mean, for me, at least when I started business, it was very materialistic, with a materialistic end goal.
Right.
So that really screws you up. That really messes everything up because you're not taking care of your future self when you're being materialistic. Realistically, when you're being materialistic, you're taking care of yourself right now, and then you're not really looking ahead. So it's really taking care of yourself. Taking care of a lot of the things that maybe we don't learn, through high school or college, taking care of your credit or, making sure you do your taxes right, shit like that is very, very important, and you pay the price unless you learn.
Right.
So that's why I encourage people all the time, like, hey, you're in school, still take a course about something else, like stay informed, go to conferences, stuff we do. I mean, you guys are traveling the country on a weekly, monthly basis, not only bringing in more connections, but bringing in more knowledge in order for you guys to serve a better product to the people that you guys serve on a daily basis, which is your customers. So it's very important to stay on that innovative vibe because all these companies we see that are not innovating are dying out.
Right.
So that's something
I mean, like I always tell people, like with us, with FitTea, like every year there was someone that was going to either knock us out or they were going to be the forefront person that took us out in a sense of like the detox tea market. And every year I would come up with like a new concept that would really catapult us to the following year, right? So whether that was in the beginning really being aggressive with influencers or being really aggressive with, in a sense of just Instagram marketing, or then, pivoting as the years went on into retail, like these pivots are what keeps you sustainable over time. But a lot of times people can't realize that you have to do those disciplines to keep a business sustainable for a long period of time. Like think about Coca-Cola, right? Like they've been around for 100 years. Can you imagine all the adjustments and all?
Bro, they've been at war with Pepsi for the whole time. All the adjustments they've had to make has been ridiculous.
But I can't even like the fortitude of that. Like think about 100 years. Like 15's only been around for 6, and I think that's mind blowing. Like as a time frame. But 100, even 50 years. 50 years is such like think about the innovation that happens within that time frame and just in society alone. Like Coca-Cola saw the adaptation of like airplanes. You know what I mean? Like that's such a big, change, and to sustain a business within that. Like I can't even just me, trying to be humble-minded and like speaking humble. I can't even imagine like that in a sense of FitTea. Like in 100 years from now, will FitTea have survived that adaptation just like how Coca-Cola kept doing? Obviously, that's a very big conversation to compare us to that. But like I always get excited when I talk about people and pivoting in a business and trying to keep that. Like how do you make a brand that lasts 100 years, right? Like really, like if we had that conversation for like the next 20 minutes, like what would you say like the number one thing for a company? Would it be obviously being sustainable? Is that the most important thing? Is it being aggressive within the market and being number one? How do you survive, having a brand for that long of a period of time?
I believe that for a brand to survive that long, it's true one goal and one obsession There's actually a good book to read about that. It's called The One Thing. For you guys that are into reading and self-development, read The One Thing. The one thing you need to be obsessed about is your customer. You want a repeat customer. You want a customer, and it depends on your service, right? Because maybe you have a service-based company, maybe you have a product-based company. But at the end of the day, if the product the person is paying for is the best that it could be, and you know it's the best that it could be, and you have proper follow-up and proper marketing, you're always going to have a sustainable brand because people are satisfied with your product, people are seeing your product, they're seeing the social proof that the product is satisfying, and they're going to continue to purchase. Besides that, it's just going to be research and development and innovation, but as long as you have these pillars, you're going to go through shaky moments, I was talking about it with Kevin today, that was it today? Yeah, or yesterday. You need to even if things are going good, they're gonna some days gonna come where shit's gonna get fucked up, and you gotta be ready for that day, and you gotta save for that day, have a contingency plan for that day, see what you gotta have organized in order for that day because it's coming, and we know it's coming, bro. You're a business owner. I'm a business owner. We're all business owners in this room. We know that sometimes shit goes south, and we have to be ready for that. But at the end of the day, if that customer is happy and you're providing a good product, shit, man, you're happy. Look at people with Apple products. We love our Apple products, our iPhones, our iPads, our MacBooks. We trust them, and we will go to great lengths and spend thousands of dollars. Some people will even go do lines for days on end to buy a product because of how much passion they've put into that one product. If you notice, when Steve Jobs really wanted to make innovation in the company, he stopped designing so many things and he concentrated on one thing. They stopped with everything. They said, you know what, let's put everything we got onto this iPhone. We have iPods, but let's put everything we got into this iPhone, and once we perfect that, let's start branching out and start but you concentrate, if you put your eggs into 20 baskets, yeah, you're gonna spread yourself thin, but concentrating on that true user experience, it's what's gonna keep you alive because it's gonna keep you relevant.
That's what happened with us too, with Fitzy. For the longest, I refused to put any other product into the store, right? It was just the 14-day and the 28-day, almost for a 3-year period. And without a flavor change, nothing. It was this is what we have. And we're going to put an intense focus on just Fit Tea, right? This brand name, and there's no other options. There's no other bells and whistles. This is the only thing you can purchase at the store. We gave the customer less options. The only sense is that they could upgrade for more of the product with more days, right? 14-day versus 28 days.
Yeah.
In that price bracket. That was the only options that we gave, and I feel like it really helped us. And not only that, in a sense of structure to the business, because we became so obsessed with process. In the beginning, we were just filling them all by hand in this bag, just like this, and just filling them and sealing them ourselves. And over time, I go, okay, how can I do this product all internally, right? And be really hyper-focused in a sense of this is the only thing we're going to get perfection. And obviously it took maybe 3 or 4 years to the point where I go, okay, this is the product. There's no more innovation. I don't think I can make it any more better, any more efficient. But I think that intense focus, a lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs now that I see, especially at these events, they go, okay, I got to do 1 million things, right? I need to have 1 million products in my store. I need to have, 50 SKUs in my store. And there's a lack of intense purpose focus. To the point where if it's I always tell people the passion that I had for Fitzy was in a sense of Coca-Cola. I always bring that up, or Apple, because a lot of people don't think of 100 years from now, because you're gonna be dead. Most likely, you're not gonna enjoy that benefit of that product.
I see you everywhere.
I'm literally the king at purchasing influence, if you think about it, right? I always think that it's the opposite, building the product and really doing the due diligence at building something that's sellable, right? Yeah. You can build the audience and trust, but a lot of the times, at least influencers are missing the sales part of a product and the ability to going, okay, I have this great audience, I have all this data, I can extract it in so many different ways, but they don't have the ability to go, okay, I'm going to make this thing that's not me, right? It's no longer, it's an entity of some sort. They're not willing to do that sacrifice. That sacrifice is so difficult. It takes such discipline and such an obsession. You have to become completely, utterly obsessed in that, in a sense of you're going to provide value that's so much greater than just the audience, right? The audience is whatever. You can purchase the audience at any time, but doing what you saw today, right? That's really hard. Having a manufacturing facility. Think about how many things had to go to make that reality.
Yeah.
Where I'm not trying to say like building an audience is easy either, but you can purchase that in a second. Where building an infrastructure for a product or a business it's a task.
The foundation needs to be strong.
Right.
Because you can bring that attention in through many, whether it's through paid media or whether it's through grassroots marketing. There's a million ways.
Yeah.
But you guys, dude, I mean, I knew about your brand even before I met you. I met you, I don't know, 6-7 months ago through Dan Fleshman's event.
Right.
I remember you talking there, and I thought it was so dope the way that you communicated with the crowd. I was like, bro, like, it's really, really cool to see somebody be transparent about the way they, you know, they've engaged in business and go out there and actually show people, hey, look, this is what I've done, whether I fucked up or not. Like, this is my experience, right?
Yeah.
And just before that, because being somebody that's in the industry, when you start seeing a brand a lot, you're like, all right, these guys are fucking killing it, you know? And if they're not killing it, they're doing a fantastic job getting in front of people.
Right.
And I remember when I put 2 and 2 together, when I met you and then when I knew about the brand, I was like, bro, these guys have been doing work for a while. And it's about the consistency.
Right.
You know, I'm sure you didn't get scared when you first maybe did a round of influencer marketing and maybe at one point it didn't work. Like you just keep going and you keep going because the results will be there as long as the product is good and the customer is satisfied, which obviously your customers are, and your organization is providing a product that's satisfying because you're continuing to run and expand. You know, it seems that every time that we talk or that I talk to Chris or anybody from the team, you guys are doing cool, crazier things, and that momentum only comes from growth and results from your customers.
This is like the first year where I felt like, okay, we need to like pivot from like Fit Tea, right? Yeah. Like I was like, this opportunity for the CBD space and Happy Tea was like the first time I go, okay, Fit Tea's had its, I want to say had its run, but it's not going to peak out any higher than it once was. And the excitement level for just me as a manager, I go, okay, how can I keep doing the same thing for such an enduring time? 6 years is a long time. And having the opportunity to pivot into something that's like this emerging market. So sometimes even if you have a winner, right, like Fit Tea's still a winner, it still makes millions of dollars. But it's like the kind of thing where is it going to make hundreds of millions of dollars, right? No. So like even for me, who's been as disciplined at gratification delay, right? Like in a sense of like taking money out of the business, I'm the king of like delaying that years on end. Like I won't even think about like taking money out. I just keep putting it in my brand. For
me, it doesn't even exist to take money out of the business.
It really doesn't.
With you.
Like this multi-million-dollar corporation, but in reality, a lot of times it's like you're in a foxhole taking grenades, and there's people with you. They're like, you're okay, but they're not in the foxhole taking the grenades. They're like all the way back in the fortitude area. They're totally safe. They have helmets on. Everything's gonna be fine. You're over there just. And you try, and then the same time, you have to act like that's not happening, right? Like you have to act like there's nothing, in a sense of any type of danger towards a business or any type of like where there could be risk or where downsizing or the opposite where something is going really well. It's a very roller coaster ride, and I always tell people
it's the loneliest job in the world.
Be careful what you wish for too. It's not for everybody. Like a lot of people like want to be an entrepreneur, they want to be a business owner, they want to have this they have this idea of what it is. And I said sometimes just go get a job and enjoy that job because that's better for your life.
Dude,
it's not a bad thing.
There's nothing wrong with having a fire-ass job.
I know. I say that all the time.
There's nothing wrong with having a fire-ass job. I own my businesses right now. If the right company comes along and wants me to do something that is going to change the world and I'm going to hold a high position and I'm going to change the world, you better believe I'm going to do it because I don't have an ego when it comes to that. I'm just trying to do something great and I'm trying to do something that fulfills me. Who cares, man? There's great jobs out there. There's so many great jobs, people doing amazing things.
Oh my God, amazing things. Way more inspiring than selling a bag of tea. Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, sometimes like be careful what you're wishing for because you don't even know like my best friend, his name is Steven, we had a conversation today. He owns the Tampa Bay Comic-Con. And we were talking about just like employee management and like what goes into really doing that, and especially when it goes into scale, like you have 30 plus. And that's in itself, just that aspect, it's a sliver of responsibility of the total spectrum of a business. Yeah. That's a hard thing to do because you're dealing with emotions, different people's personalities, people's motivations, people's egos, and how do you just absorb that? So a lot of times I tell people it's not a bad thing that you're not an entrepreneur. You know, like a lot of times they come to me, they ask for advice, and I'm just really honest. Like I'm like, look, maybe this isn't for you. You know what I mean? And that's not a bad thing.
And some people are really ungrateful also about their jobs because I don't think like everybody acts like everything's okay, right? And I'm aware of this. I see this. We all know this. People act like they're okay when they're not. Okay, it's always been a thing, right? Sometimes things aren't what they seem, and sometimes you're seeing somebody that you think is in a better situation than you, and they're not really. They're just digging themselves into the ground or into debt, and you may have an amazing job that you're taking for granted because you feel like you want to live like that person, but that person is a ticking time bomb.
Oh yeah.
So to the people that are like complaining about their jobs or this or that, like, hey, just maybe it's not the ideal situation, but why don't you take a moment and look at your life. Right, but do something that fulfills you. Right. Because that eventually, once you become so good at it and people recognize how much you love it, it's going to become a business by itself without being forced. Right. And it's going to be natural.
I mean, that's kind of what happened to me. I was working a 9 to 5. I just wasn't really happy with what I was doing. But at the same time, I was always like in this search of like, I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I always knew I was going to own like a really big business. I just always knew. And I was always turning that butter, like, okay, well, this isn't the one, time to look for the next thing, or, keep going. Then I got really into, like, SEO and online marketing and, like, really got obsessed of, like, just, like, traffic. Yeah. Like, how do I get a person to go to a website? Not even in a sense of conversion. And then over time, I got very fortunate and figured out that detox tea was the thing that was going to be for me. So that was like my side hustle at first, like just kind of like understanding SEO, and I'll do SEO for some people or I'll build a website for them. And that little bit of knowledge ended up being very important when I ended up really trying to jump and doing good tea. So yeah, I agree with you. Like you don't have to. You don't have to quit your job. Yeah. Test out. You can do really small tests. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna take a mortgage on my home. I'm like, holy shit! Like first see if the money's there, like taste the water, and then see. Take the big. I'm also a big advocate on taking big risks though, because as far as like risk, I'm like probably the most craziest of the bunch.
I remember that story. Yeah, you told a story about when
I dropped $1 million on Kylie.
Oh shit! Yeah. $1 million.
And that was actually trying to be just rounded numbers, right? Like just saying like a big number, but it was probably way more than that.
It's probably way more than that.
Yeah, because it was like think about product, infrastructure, storage. Then it didn't.
And it was based around her.
It was based around her. Then like it didn't. She didn't push enough traffic. We probably had it. I feel like I look back now. The biggest problem was we priced it wrong. We had it at like $75, but the competitor was at $150. So I thought, okay, half off, right? But looking back, we probably should have just tried to double our money, right? We got too greedy. We probably should have just did $25, and it probably would have flew, like in the sense of like the sales, and maybe even less than that, maybe $12. Like just keep getting the sale. Like I look back and maybe that's one of the biggest glaring problems. But then again, the product category is a very strange product.
How did you? All right. So look, I'm dropping a podcast like in a week, and the topic is how to reach out to people on social media, right? Or how to reach out to people in general. How was your way of reaching out to Kylie's people? Like, how did you?
In the beginning, it was like, so we were like reaching out to anyone that we thought would be associated to them. Okay. And then we asked a lot of questions like, do you know somebody in their camp? Do you know this? Do you know who? But Kylie was our first post with the Kardashian family. Obviously, she's a Jenner, but she was the first one, and we paid her $12K. But this shit was like under the table. Like we literally took her a bag of cash and her to do the post, and she did the post with glasses on and like to try to kind of hide her face because she knew she would get in trouble with her mother at the time. And this was 6 years ago, which is crazy to think back. Like, if you think about how old she was too. She was a teenager. You know what I mean? Like we just dropped off $13,000 in cash to this teenager. But it was, especially back then, that post by far was the most successful post singularly that I ever did. Because that $13,000 probably turned into like $400K, like easily. So, wow. But yeah, we got really fortunate in finding people that knew her. And then over time, we did things more official, not under the table. And now we're like kind of like connected to the family much closer.
Well, at the end of the day, that was back in the day too, and the way everything has been regulated with social media advertising and how everything's been developed, like the internet, it's fairly new, even though it's it's been around and it's so developed. Like all of these laws with your advertising and this and that, and you know, you like look at the shit that happened with Fire Festival. Like so many things changed after that too for social media. So it's just been a constant. Like
it's been evolving. Jay-Z did that so you didn't have to, or something like that. In the sense of like, I did that for everyone to take. So like, if you rewind the clock 6 years ago, like a lot of people don't know this about my history. We had to deal with a department of the Better Business Bureau called the NED. The NED is called the National Advertising Division of the Better Business Bureau. And what they do is they regulate different types of advertising based upon corporations. And they wanted to make us an example. So we were obviously we're the biggest in the beginning in a sense of like all the influencers posting, but there was no rules yet. The FTC did not come out with their guidelines quite yet with like hashtag ad or disclosure. So we tried our best based upon our contracts, based upon like, a lot of times we'll tell influencers, hey, put hashtag ad in your post, and they didn't think it was cool, right? They would just put the post up, and there was just so many. We had like thousands going up in a given week. So to keep management of all those posts was like impossible at the time. And so we got made an example. So I had to go to New York, face a board, and do a whole like 6 months basically back and forth between attorneys, and basically just come up to that we would use hashtag ad. Right? All that stress, all that stuff.
For a fucking hashtag.
I know, it's the craziest thing, because like my biggest argument, like I remember like most of the board were like older female or older male like attorneys. And my argument always was like, when you watch a commercial, it doesn't say hashtag ad. You're just assuming that the individual that's a celebrity within the ad has been paid, right? You don't know if it doesn't say in the bottom of the ad that this celebrity was paid XYZ, right? Like you don't know that. So I always said like I was always my argument with disclosure, but yeah, that was like something that we had to go through and our growing pains.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. My growing pains have been ridiculous. People think that they're the only ones going through growing pains, and it's like, bro, wake up. We're all waking up like, oh fuck, I gotta do this, or oh fuck that, like all of us.
Of course, I mean, like during the first 6 months of 50, I always say was like the hardest, because like we had no infrastructure. I was literally doing everything. I would open up my eyes, and right when I opened my eyes, I'm like, back to work, right? And then literally it'd be like 4 o'clock in the morning, and just my body no longer could take it. And I would fall asleep on tape and shit, and like wake up and have like boxes, and because I was packing, I was doing this, I was doing emails. It was just like the most insane 6 months of my life. But those growing pains, if you can take that intensity, like it'll change your whole. If you could be disciplined enough to do it every single day and say, no, I can't go to that party. No, I can't go drinking.
That's one of the hardest parts.
That's by far. Especially at the age at the time, right? I was 26.
You were trying to
25, 26.
I'm 25 right now.
So like that, like think about it. Like you're at the point of your life where you're finally getting some money in your pocket. You're finally doing things that you're as adult as you can. Like your infancies of like really being an adult, like 25. At least that's my experience it was. Like some people, obviously, they're 18, they got 3 kids in the house.
Yeah.
Different for me.
Yeah.
But it was like, that discipline not to do all those things for a short period of time was like the most rewarding thing that's ever happened to me. So, like I tell people all the time, like if you could just sacrifice and just really put your head down and really give it your all.
It takes a few weeks to see results, bro. It takes a few days.
Right.
If you literally right now get your shit together and say, all right, during these next 3 days, I'm going to fuck shit up.
Right.
I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to get a quick workout in. I'm going to make sure I eat good today, and I'm going to make sure I get my work done, put my phone down, stop looking at Instagram. You're going to feel great after 3 days, but it's so hard to do that. Right. There's so many distractions and wanting to scroll on your phone late at night and your friends calling you and then this and then that. But hey, man, sooner or later, like, you're going to have to do it. How long are you going to hold it off? Like I said at the beginning when we started talking, you're taking from your future self.
Right. It's either or, right? You're taking away from the current self, right? Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to have a good time. Like, I'm not going to, I'm for my sanity. Yeah. I'm going to take a TV time out, especially now. Back then, I was like, nah, this is for the fam. I'm putting this on me. But a lot of people never get that 6-month discipline, ever in their whole entire life. They'll constantly say, we're going to start a business, I'm going to start this, I'm going to do this project, they're going to take that all the way to their grave. They'll never have that moment where they see, okay, this is really working. This is something I should go all in on. I see the lights at the end of the tunnel. I'm just gonna ride this bitch. And like a lot of times they won't even do that. They'll have all the answers, and they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna wing it and not really put that total sacrifice. So it busts my balls a lot of times when I see people do that, because a lot of these people, they have way more gifts than I had when I started 15. In the sense of like, some people like I'll meet, they're like, yeah, I have 5 million followers. I'm like, fuck, you know how many followers I had when I started 15? 300.
Yeah.
And they were like bullshit followers. So you know what I mean? Like there was nothing really in a sense of like returning the money. So it's just a strange world we live in a little bit sometimes.
I mean, bro, people have to learn through their experience. You know, sometimes people try to teach us and teach us and teach us. We learn through fucking up. Some of us learn, you know, from reading other mentors, but a lot of us, you know, also learn from fucking up, man. Because there's no, like, I always talk about it, there's no guideline on how to be an entrepreneur.
No, there isn't.
It's just, you know, you're taking the learning from every situation and applying those skill sets you learn from either messing up or from your win and applying them to the next one and hoping that works. And if that doesn't work, it's all about data at the end of the day. Right. Same thing for ads, same thing for any type of campaign. You got to read the data. You got to read your own data. All right. Evaluate yourself, all of your situations. Oh, all right, okay, I fucked the last 5 projects up. Why have they gotten fucked up? Mm-hmm. Well, maybe because this, or that. And you fix it. And then you got to constantly question yourself and reevaluate yourself. Did I fuck up? Did I do this? Did I do that? Because we're not always right.
Right.
We're not. That's why good advisors, for me, good advisors are a key thing. You know, surround yourself with people who know what you're talking about, understand your business, you know, can give you great input, vice versa. It's great. It's key.
It's weird for me because like I really didn't have like any like advisors or anyone that I like went to in a sense during the time frame when I wasn't being public about my stuff. It was a long period of time. Like I was like the Wizard of Oz. Nobody knew who was the founder of 50. Nobody knew who was doing this stuff. And there's pros to that though, right? Like you don't get muddled by other people's thinkings. Like I 100% agree with you. Like having someone that can give you advice, going to someone to talk to, but I feel like the individual sometimes gets muffled by their ideologies and thoughts. Sure. And like with me, I feel like it was good for me that I didn't have anybody, because I made a lot of decisions, whether they were right or wrong, that have molded me into the businessman that I currently am. Yeah. That I don't think if I had someone that go, okay, don't do that, don't make that mistake, I wouldn't have really learned the lesson, right? Like now, as I keep going on this journey and I'm trying to do bigger and bigger things, I wouldn't have been anywhere ready or or at least knowledgeable in a sense of experience if I had someone saying, don't do that, don't touch the hot stuff.
Yeah, I get you. I get what you mean.
But I also, at the same time, agree, you know, it's not like I was 100% isolated on an island. There's no man that's an island. So,
yeah, no, there's always a village.
There's always someone that is tapping into you somehow.
And you can't let people. I speak on it all the time. You can't necessarily let what people think influence your decisions, right. But you could use it for wisdom. Right. You know, wisdom. Whether they're completely wrong, now, like you said, give me the gauntlet back. Right. But at least you're wise enough to realize that. Right. But maybe, like you said, sometimes you pick up a nugget. Maybe you gain wisdom from maybe a small speck of what they said. So it's like open-mindedness is great, but you know you also got to limit the type. Yeah. The type of the influence of information.
It can deter what you're trying to do. Like someone can if I had listened to a lot of my advisors in the beginning, I would still be working at Melrose, right? I could still be working at the job that I had, and it would have prevented me to really catapulting myself into this huge sacrifice. Because like I tell people all the time, yeah, it's great to have a side hustle, but you're never going to have the $100 million company unless you go all the fuck in. You go, there's going to be a day where you're going to see the chips are going to, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to say, if you do this, you're going to make, $100 million. It's never going to say that, but it might say, there's some money here. Bet on it, right? This might be the one.
The odds are good.
The odds are good. It looks good. And you're holding all the chips, and you know what? It's time to just and for me, that's exactly what happened. I quit my job. I put all my money in. I started taking this. I literally didn't care. I was like a psychopath. And I was like, I'm going to do this thing. And that uncomfortable bet will catapult you to this huge, total different level than you ever would be. So, yeah. You just have to bet big and really push forward.
I mean, when you're sure about what you're doing, whether it's you're sure that the product is good or you're sure that you love what you're doing,
Right.
it's only a matter of time.
Right. It's only a matter of time.
Just keep going, man.
Right.
You had a bad year, boohoo. Shut the fuck up.
Bad news will come. It's just a season. It's just like anything in life.
Man.
Bad harvest. Okay. Time to adjust. This is what we did wrong, and like do it again. And then like with us, like especially here in the office, like we're like if you ask people like how I work, like it's so sporadic. Like some days I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna put it down on paper, and this is what we're gonna test. And then the next week is like we're not gonna do this, right? Like we're gonna say no to all these things. So like a lot of times I'm not even sure where I'm driving the ship, but eventually like I hope the ship lands in a good harbor. So it's like,
I mean, none of us know where we're going, bro.
Right.
All right, like let's just do some good shit out here. Let's not be assholes to people.
Let's not kill anyone. We didn't kill no one. Good. All right, great. Was there somebody in the door? All right, great, perfect.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but it's a fun ride, bro, and it's cool to see how tangible it could become, man. How many buildings do you have out here?
We have 7 units.
7 units. You guys heard that? 7 units. You guys can do it too. You guys have been following this guy for a while. Now you see, there's a person behind this brand. There's people behind this brand. It's very, very impressive. Stay posted to the next one because I'm sure he's going to have somebody crazy. And if it's not somebody crazy, I'm sure he's going to go on a really, really cool rant. Make sure you guys stay posted to all the events that him and his team are pretty much attending to around the world. They're really, really educating people and changing lives with what they're doing and providing opportunity for people to grow in careers. You guys are always looking for cool talent. So make sure you guys stay posted. This is Alex, Quin, Michael Gonzalez.
Big money moves.
Let's get it.